All right.
Shall we give the gentleman the honor?
Gentleman first. Okay.
Right, hello. This is Virtually Connecting, and we're at Eurocall in Belgium. And my name is Simon Ensor, and I'm in Clermont-Ferrand in France. So what we're going to do straight ahead is we're going to go to Belgium, and we're going to get the guys in Belgium to introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. My name is Philip. I'm from Germany. I work for Erasmus Plus Virtual Exchange and represent the project here on the conference. And yeah, happy to be here.
Maybe I continue. I'm Andrea Reves. I'm from University College London, and I gave one of the plenary talks yesterday on task complexity and task-based language teaching in technology-mediated context.
A good one.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes, yes, a good one.
She forgot the adjective. I gave a brilliant plenary presentation. Yeah.
I'm Louise Ohashi, and I'm from Australia, but have lived in Japan for about 17 years. And I work with the Call SIG, which is a Japan-based SIG for people who are interested in using technology and teaching, and have been coming to Eurocall for about 5 years now.
Mm-hmm. I'm Miriam Haug. I'm from Germany, but I live and work in the United Kingdom. And I happen to be the president of Eurocall right now.
Well, congratulations. Hail, Miriam.
No such thing.
I didn't realize we were in such elevated company.
Well, the carpet is red below us.
It's such a hard-working volunteer.
Right. Marcin?
Hello, my name is Marcin Kleban, and I'm currently in Poland. I work at Jagiellonian University in Krakow in Poland, and I'm also involved in teacher training and call, and I've been collaborating among others with Simon and Teresa within the sort of a informal project which is called Klavier. And that's it.
Great. Okay, well, let's go straight to Belgium and get a few ideas of what's going on, because we have no idea. We can just see a poster, and that's all we can see. So what's going on?
Yeah, shall I quickly say we kicked off yesterday with our workshops, conference workshops, on a great variety of themes. And the good thing was that this year we had teachers from Belgium, from this part of Belgium, I should be saying, from the French part of Belgium joining us, which is something we tried 10 years ago at Eurocall. And now we restarted, we relaunched the initiative successfully. We had almost 50 teachers joining us, attending the workshops in the morning, in the early afternoon, and then also staying for this fantastic keynote that we had, and then for the first set of paper presentations in the afternoon. And then they went home, and we moved on to the Tintin, to the Hergé Museum here in Louvain-la-Neuve, and had a reception there, and that was the end of the first day. Everyone then walked home. It's beautiful here. It's all pedestrian. It's amazing. It's an amazing place. Louvain-la-Neuve was built as a university town, but it has grown. Non-students live here now as well on a daily basis. And it has a nice buzz about it in the evenings, particularly in this weather. There are loads of esplanades. You can go and sit outside. Fantastic.
And beautiful murals painted around.
Yeah, loads of art.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, public art. Yes.
Special place.
Very.
Okay, let's hear about your keynote, please, Andrea.
The keynote, yes. Let's hear about the keynote.
Oh, what did I talk about? My area is task-based language teaching, and what I try to do is bring task-based language teaching and technology-mediated learning together. Within that, I started with a bit of introduction about what task-based language teaching is, then what task complexity is, which has to do with task difficulty, and then looked at previous research in this area and tried to come up with some future research directions based on the gaps, considering some methodological issues and also some theoretical issues, bringing in a way a second language acquisition perspective into call and this area of SLA and call. So that was the very brief summary, but I think we'll be sharing, or I think someone asked me yesterday, so the presentation will be online, so people who couldn't attend, they'll be able to download the slides.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, that was actually my question after the the very warm words about the plenary talk.
Oh.
I wanted to learn whether that would be available online.
I think it will be available, but if I think it will be on the website, but you can always email me, and I'm happy to send the slides.
Great.
That's really interesting. We're working on a pretty complex telecollaboration project, researching it at the moment. So that will be perhaps helpful for us. We may not have time to include it though.
We should also mention maybe that the theme of the conference is complexity.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I talked about task complexity, and today's plenary is on linguistic complexity. I believe so.
It should be nice in complementing what you said in a nice way, because you explicitly did not focus on linguistic complexity, which I found very refreshing. Thank you.
And Detmar had some comments on that, but that's fine.
Okay, Louise, what was been your highlight for apart from of course the brilliant keynote from yesterday?
For me, every time that I come to Eurocall, the highlight is the community, because I can see lots of great presentations in many different conferences. I have the opportunity to go to quite a lot of them. But what keeps me coming back to Eurocall, even though I'm based in Japan and the time zones kill me and I'm jet lagged to the hilt when I get here, what keeps me coming back is that people are so supportive, enthusiastic. They bring in ideas that I don't always get exposed to at other places. There's different ways of looking at things, and that there are communal break times, so you have the opportunities to actually connect with people and build relationships. So these are the highlights for me. And then when you get those chances to talk to people outside of the sessions, you go to their sessions and learn more about it. You can really get into topics in a lot more depth, I find, than I can in some other events that I've been to. So that's the highlight. And perhaps the opening workshop that I went to, the 9 o'clock one, it was about the do's and don'ts when you are publishing. And there were editors from 6 or 7 different call-related journals, and they were telling us about what kind of things that we should and definitely shouldn't do when we're putting out our work. So it was nice for me because, I mean, some of the journals I hadn't even drawn on before, and I realized, oh, I could use these when I'm looking into research and I want more new ideas. And other ones I knew about, but I hadn't thought of actually contributing to myself, and it sparked some ideas. So I liked that a lot.
Great. Philippe.
Yeah, I mean, I can just second that the community is especially a highlight in this conference. For me, I'm somewhat new to the whole thing, I think. So my perspective is more like a freshman perspective or something like this. So I feel very well welcomed here on the conference, and I'm impressed by the amount of different subjects and workshops and talks that we have here, but it's also very well organized.
We lost a bit, Philippe.
No, sorry?
We lost a bit of what you said at the end. I don't know if Marcin, you heard.
I just said that to sum it up, the program is very, very diverse. It's dense, but very diverse and very well organized. Like it's good to follow. Like it's easy to follow your selected schedule, because we're also in one building, even on one floor, which is a good point. But yeah, besides that, I've met many interesting people so far. I have had many talks. As I'm coming from the virtual exchange side, that's like what is now intermixing with the terminology about telecollaboration. So as I learn a lot here, I can also share a lot of my experience with virtual exchange. So I think it's a very enriching and balanced process at the moment. It's very good.
And building on that, you said you hadn't, how many times have you been to Eurocall?
This is my first.
It's your very first, right? Yeah. So I met some people on Twitter before the event that had posted saying it was their first time, and I wrote back. And then we met at the reception at the Tintin Museum last night and had a drink and took some photographs together. And it's really nice to be able to do this. Yeah.
Just to add to what you were saying, it's also my first time at Eurocall, and it was also interesting to see the presentation. It's a nice mixture of more research-oriented sessions, but also some of them are really practical.
Yes,
you have this mixture of, practice and theory interface that we don't get to see very often at conferences. So I think that's also really a nice feature.
Especially in this subject, it's important to combine practice and theory, I think. So that's really good.
And Teresa, how about Teresa? I know you're out of camera at the moment, but I suspect you're there.
Tweeting.
She's the voice in the background.
Right, give us your voice off.
The controller.
Teresa has already done a very good job. May I speak on behalf of you? In the opening ceremony, introducing everything that is virtual, including virtually connecting to the audience. And today, I have arranged for Teresa to have a slot around the next keynote speaker.
She's looking surprised.
It's a piece of news for you, Teresa, to talk about badges, because we didn't talk about the badges yesterday, and I think that was a good thing because there was a lot of information coming people's way already. But we have a badge. Actually, we have two badges now. We have one for presenters and one for attendees. That people can claim after the Eurocall conference and integrate into their digital signature or showcase wherever they want to showcase it on their LinkedIn page, for example. So we are trying to create a little bit more visibility for Eurocall in the social networks. So we might also give you a badge, Martin.
Oh, thank you.
If
I
you
have some
want,
room, some space left.
because you are also an attendee via virtually connecting. So we do not discriminate. Just the opposite. We want to have you on board.
So that's actually a really interesting question, because I know that Teresa has been working hard on the virtual aspect, and particularly with her experience with ALT. And I'm wondering how you see the future of virtual hybridity of Eurocall.
She's coming, just a sec.
She's coming, we've got her.
I'm going to keep her here. She's not going anywhere.
Right.
You're locked.
Okay. I don't know how much I can tell you about this, but I can tell you that we are in discussions with ALT to make closer links between the two organizations, because we have so many synergies. Obviously, ALT is a generic computer assisted or learning technology group. It's the main UK charity. It's the go-to organization for governmental reviews in terms of technology.
It's an abbreviation, right? What does it stand for?
The Association for Learning Technology.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, we get so used to using acronyms all the time, it's not good. So yes, we are making closer connections between our two organizations, and we're very positive about that. In fact, if you return to the history of ALT and the history of Eurocall, the two organizations started at about the same time, and people were members of both. The founding fathers of Eurocall were also founding fathers of ALT. So there's a historical link there too.
Having said that, if you know of a similar organization in France or any other European country,
yes,
we are really actively seeking to establish closer connections with sister and brother organizations and to sign a memoranda of understanding. So, yeah, we want to widen our reach outside the language learning and teaching, or technology mediated language learning and teaching realm.
I think that there is a fertile ground, because my experience of these various conferences is that what is a great shame is that the virtual aspect is not something which is integrated right from the start. Because just thinking of the people who are in my case, my only way to actually network, and it's been one of the most successful ways to network with people in Uni Collaboration or Eurocall is via virtually connecting.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it's been very, very powerful.
Yes.
And that's why virtually connecting is such an important tool.
Yes,
sure.
and it's actually beyond the synchronous. Well, certainly beyond
Right.
the video conferencing aspect as well. We're seeing multimodal interactions happening. So last night, having decided to go to bed early, I was then on Twitter noticing there's a learning and teaching in higher education chat, an LTHE chat going on. So just the participation, the discussions between practitioners, reaching out, and we're all perhaps in different places doing different things. These things can happen equally well through Twitter chats and blogs. So it doesn't have to involve expensive or difficult technology. Today we're connecting on a free tool, and we're using a cardboard box to prop up my tablet here, literally, to make this happen. So it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be.
Can I show it?
Yeah,
I'm going to try and show you how our setup is. So just a minute. Can you see the setup, the box?
Yes.
That's brilliant.
The water's holding the box.
Low-tech solutions for high-tech problems.
Right.
But this is
swung your webcam round, you'd see we're actually in a storage room as well. We're surrounded by all the paraphernalia of the conference.
I can't do that from here.
You will, and you'll find a way.
Exactly.
But I think this is one issue which is, for me, the most important, because I work with Nepalese, and the Nepalese, you have to make appointments to speak to them when they're in Kathmandu on a good day. But I can guarantee you that it's when you actually get into a Nepalese school with kids who have very little. I mean, they really have, the electricity is already problematic, running water is problematic, but when you start getting into those areas, then you have a lot to learn. And just over the past year, thanks to this sort of arrangement, we've been able to get the Nepalese Association to speak to teachers, and this has been mind-blowing for them. Because we talk about access and we talk about this as a means of access, but when you can't even access a computer and stable electricity, those are the areas I think we really need to learn from, because they have an awful lot to teach us.
In terms of creativity, I'm sure.
Navigating
challenges.
And this works both ways. I mean, in one of the iOOCs, like a MOOC, but interactive, so it's a MOOC with virtual exchange elements, that I was working and facilitating in, the topic was about European migration policies, and there were like also refugees or people from Northern African countries involved. Some of them joining in through the computer rooms of refugee camps. So that was really, of course, mind-blowing for them, but especially also for the European students to actually be confronted with the practical side of the abstract topics that they were lecturing about or lectured about, you know. So that was that's the strength of this, what we're doing here, I would say.
But I think that this aspect, I suppose I've been working like this for what 10 years, is that we're really, the time that we spend together, like you talked about, the highlight was actually the community. Well, that can actually have a long afterlife.
Right.
So that's to say that even a 2-minute activity with students in a classroom can actually have a 10-year or longer lifetime. And this connection that we're making today, maybe when we talk about Eurocall, well, it doesn't have to be Eurocall, it can be next week with a bunch of teachers in a classroom. And I think that really this idea of having an open network, I know with Marcin together, this is what has been crucial. We have had the face-to-face contact, but most of our work has been completely online, and we've been working for 8 years together.
No, Hugo.
I was just going to say, well, even you and I, because we know each other through virtually connecting through previous Eurocall sessions and built community in that way.
Sure. And I think it could be just a photo. It can be something. When we talk about complexity,
Right.
Yeah.
probing, we have no idea what actually will catch the attention of somebody.
Right.
And that I think the Cynefin framework, I don't know if you're familiar with Snowden, Dave Snowden. Right. Okay.
No, tell us.
Okay, so I'll put it in the chat. In the chat.
Maybe while you're copying the link, let me quickly just go one step back and build upon what you said, because I think that point cannot be stressed enough. Is also what we are discussing here, that there might be still some skepticism towards virtual exchange or telecollaboration, because it's a brave new world thing somehow, you know what I mean? So, but actually it's not something that is threatening face-to-face contact or real mobility, as we still say physical mobility. We try to brand the terminology, because it's also complementing each other very well.
Yes.
So that was all what I wanted to say to this. So now you please go ahead.
The virtual's not so virtual after all, really, is it?
Yeah.
I think coming back to what you were talking about in your box.
Busted.
We're outside the box.
No, but seriously,
We're outside the box.
all these mediating artifacts we've had for years. We've always had virtual. I mean, how much virtual presence have I spent in classrooms in Latin? When I wasn't there, they thought I was there. I wasn't there, and I think that we have this sort of idea that people are learning because they're closed in some box. Because we're talking about boxes,
right?
But it's nonsense. And we don't know what they're learning because they're black boxes.
Yes. The human mind. What's inside?
And they don't know what they're learning probably either.
True, and that's where Miriam's criticality comes into things as well.
Yeah.
That, our assumptions, and those assumptions that those people who market technology, who tell us that we can measure how much people are learning through our virtual systems.
Yeah.
We have to look at this critically. Just that the fact that it's there doesn't help our learning necessarily.
And also, I mean, I feel very strongly about questioning and unearthing a little bit the biases behind the mediating effect of technology to start with, Because we think it's almost, I don't think, but many people think, oh, this is neutral, but it has an impact. It has an impact on how we are, on who we are, and how we interact and engage with each other. And that needs to be brought to the fore. A lot more, including in teacher education.
Right.
Simon, I think you forgot to ask Miriam about her highlights of the first day of the conference.
Then please fill in my gaps.
Oh my God, the people! I can only echo what Louise says. It's amazing when you walk in this auditorium for the welcoming talk and the opening of the conference, and you see all these people who have come from 39 different countries. 350 we were yesterday. I mentioned it earlier before we went live officially, from 39 different countries. And to see the passion for meaningful integration of technology into language learning, or in the learning of languages and cultures, actually. Yeah, the highlight, it's really difficult to say anything beyond to me it's the people. Yeah, the gathering of the people, the sharing, the discussing, the willingness to pushing the boundaries of our field yet a bit further.
Yeah. And also I was happy to see that there was a lot of French used. Yeah. We were in a French-speaking part, and Miriam, she gave part of the welcome speech in French and thanked the local organizers, and also Teresa too.
Some of us would prefer to speak French than English in this company because of our situation.
We're a language learning organization. We're at a conference for language learning, but often you find that the sole language that's used is English. So it was very nice to see other languages used and integrated into it in those meaningful ways when you're thanking people for organizing something in their own country, in their own language, it's like with the different forms of technology you're using, it has an impact. The language you're using, that filter, it has an impact. So that was something that I thought was very, very important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you mean merci?
Merci, merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
Je t'en prie.
I think we need to wrap up, Simon, because we've got to go to another session. But thank you very much, and what a wonderful group.
Yes, thank
people.
you for
And
this.
Right, well-
Martin, nice to meet you, Martin.
Enjoy the second day and the rest.
Okay,
Bye.
well, speak to you again, and whenever, you know where to find me. I'm online, I'm on Twitter, and we just have to, maybe we'll have to plan another event very quickly.
Yeah.
Just have one more question to Belgium, to everybody. Well, not just Belgium. Miriam said that you can see that lots of boundaries have been pushed further.
You're trying.
Excuse me.
Yeah. You're trying
They're
to push
trying.
boundaries.
So my question is, what are the boundaries? And perhaps we haven't got time to answer this question today, but maybe next time.
Yeah. But I mean, boundaries like the ones we've discussing them, that could be boundaries that have already been overcome. And also boundaries in terms of how technology is perceived in the learning and teaching of languages. That's why I think it's so important that the secondary school teachers were here and find out about what has already been achieved in the tertiary sector, but also for mutual inspiration and the tertiary sector becoming yet again aware of what kind the circumstances are within which secondary teachers have to integrate technology, very often top down, whereas we are more for the grassroots, bottom up developments in technology.
Andrea pulled that together brilliantly in
Yes.
her keynote,
Yes.
updating us with where we are in terms of the theory and the challenges that we face. It was brilliant. I left there and thought, I need to lie down in a darkened room.
Yeah.
Filter
Oh my
through.
God. Okay. Well, thank you very much, all of you. We are running out of time anyway, so have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Well,
Once again, bye.
Peace.
bye bye.